All right, man. Tory Lanez gets sentenced to 10 years in prison for shooting Meg Thee Stallion. Some people say he got what he deserved. Some people say 10 years, that's a little harsh. So you got people on both sides of the fence. But based on what I've been seeing, most people seem to be on the side of Megan. And the thing here is, everybody has their own opinion. The jury heard out the evidence. The case went how it went. And now we're here. You got two young, successful individuals. Both have money, fame, status, and this situation shakes up both of their lives. Both of their lives. Because both of them suffered through this situation. And yeah, Megan's foot wounds probably healed within a matter of months. And who knows, maybe her foot will never be the same again after getting shot. We always, Megan have everybody always women pride themselves when they can get down and twerk all the way down and work them knees a little bit. And they say they got them Megan knees. So Megan has been known for those strong knees she got. But I don't know. Her foot might not ever be the same. Tory Lanez, 10 years in prison. 10 years in prison. 10 years is a long time. It's a long time to be locked in the cage. And in the state of California, from my understanding, he may only have to do 85% of that. I say only have to do 85% of that. That's still a long time. But the bottom line is you reap what you sow. You reap what you sow. I'm not going to play one side or the other. But based on everything that came out, it sounds like the man shot Megan in the foot. And you have to ask yourself, what would make a woman, make a man get to a point where he feels like he needs to pull a gun out, point it at a woman, and fire the trigger and let off a few shots? What does a woman have to do for a man to want to do that? Some people say, well, Tory, he 5'2". Megan Thee Stallion, like almost 6 feet tall. Megan Thee Stallion will whoop Tory ass. Listen, the thing about it is, this type of situation did not warrant anybody pulling out a firearm. This type of situation didn't warrant anybody pulling. Nobody's life was in danger initially. They had an argument in the car, and I didn't follow all the details of the case, and I don't need to follow all the details of the case because the verdict was the verdict, and his sentence is the sentence. Bottom line is, this man shot a woman in the foot. Megan didn't have no weapon. Megan didn't have no knife. I don't give a damn how small you are as a man. You don't pull a gun out on a woman or a man. We're in the state of Texas. And how I was taught when it comes to firearms is you don't pull that motherfucker out unless you plan on laying somebody down. You ain't pulling that motherfucker out, pointing at their feet, talking about dance and all this type of shit. Playing around like some clown show. Because somebody could have really died. Megan could have died. That's some weak ass shit from a man's point of view to pull out a gun on a woman. And normally you see situations like this when it's some dusty ass shit going on. You know, you see some dusty ass shit going on, probably in the hood or something like that, and somebody get mad because somebody ate up all the cereal or some shit now, and somebody pull out a gun over some dumb shit, and then the gun ends up going off, and then somebody end up getting killed over some stupidity, over some dumb ass shit, over some dumb assness. That's what I call it, dumb assness. Because if you're worth millions of dollars, and dumbassness don't have a particular monetary value. Dumbassness, you can have millions and be dumb than a motherfucker, and you can have $2 in the bank and be a stupid motherfucker. But a lot of times one would think that someone who has millions of dollars, someone who has all of the opportunities in the world to make moves just based off of your fame and based off of your status, based off of your network, you would think that when it comes to dumb little petty shit like this, that you would use your brain in a way where you say, okay, we got into an argument, we're arguing. And I know this don't happen in a lot of cases, but I'm just saying, you have to be conscious of what you have to lose. I am. So you risked and you lost. You gambled and you lost. I don't know what he was trying to prove. Some people say it was, short man complex, short man. Man, look, I don't know what the fuck he was trying to prove when he pulled that gun out. But it was one of the dumbest moves he could have made. And it cost him. It's costing him millions of dollars. It's costing him upwards of 10 years of his life. I think the man like 31 or something like that. You have to ask yourself, before you do anything, especially when you have something to lose, what could happen if I decide to pull this firearm out? What can happen if I sit back here in this car and start arguing like crazy with these women? This is what happens when you mix drugs, alcohol into a situation. Or you can't even, when you get to the point where you can't even think logical about the situation that you're in. You can't think logical about how fast you're escalating an issue that didn't need to get escalated up to that level, right? You got Tory Lanez, millionaire before 30. Not many people are able to do that. Not many men can say they reached that level of success. Not many men can say they made millions. He was decades above the average person. He was decades above the average person. He was winning. You gonna throw all that shit away because of a disagreement? See, this is why I don't, especially if I'm not in my house. Now, if I'm at home and I'm chilling, I'm partying with family and friends at my house, then yeah, I might have one too many, but many times I'm not getting drunk. Especially if I'm going out to party around other people. I might drink a little bit. I might get my little buzz to feel good, but I know that peak. You know what I'm saying? I know if I go over that peak, downhill ain't gonna be pretty. But see, not a lot of people know that. Not a lot of people think like that. Some people just keep going until they crash out. You know, sometimes you got people that wake up in jail the next day, not even remembering why the fuck they was in jail, and they find out they killed somebody. So Tory drunk, I'm assuming everybody was fucked up at this party. He jump out, he busting shots, telling her to dance based on what Megan said. You busting shots at somebody, bro, towards somebody, and you hit somebody. You hit this woman in the foot, and it sounded like she was gonna keep everything player. You know what I'm saying? Megan from the H. We like to keep things player if it ain't gotta get that way. You know what I'm saying? But Tory, his ego got to him. Pride got to him. And what do they say happens when that pride starts to fill your head up? The downfall, right? That comes afterwards. And this is the result of that. That's what we're seeing. Tory has to sit down for 10 years or 85% of that, or whatever they work out. Because it looks like he hired another lawyer, and his lawyer is getting ready. They're gonna file an appeal, and so who knows? Maybe something will happen. But from my understanding, Tory was already on probation for doing some other dumb shit. You only get so many times from the universe. You only gonna get so many times, and then at some point in time, your luck runs out. And then the universe will sit your ass down, right? Sometimes that's the only way people learn. Especially people who are so reckless that they become destructive to themselves. Because I've known people growing up, I've known people who were so destructive that the only way that they would change their mentality is they gonna have to go sit their ass down for a while, for some years, and get their mind right. They have to go sit down for some years. And then some people are lucky that they had the opportunity to go sit their ass down for some years, because the next thing after that is death and destruction. And so I hate that this brother has to go through this, but he made his bed, and as they say, you make your bed, you gotta lay in it. Because what if it was worse than this? What if the gun would have went off, and what if she would have got shot somewhere else? What if she would have died? I understand that a lot of people have a lot of different views about this situation. And don't get me wrong, there are times where a man has to protect himself from a woman. That's just reality. It's some crazy women out here, just like it's some crazy dudes out here. But what I'm saying is we're speaking in terms of the dynamic of how much force does a man need to protect himself from a woman. Well, it depends on the threat level. In this case, there was no threat level. Had it have been me, I would have been like, you know what? Let me out. Y'all go ahead. Just let me out right here on the sidewalk. You know what I'm saying? And just let me walk. Or I would have just shut the hell up. And I probably would have got on my phone. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes, even sometimes if a man just let a woman just yap and run her mouth because she don't want to stop the argument, because you got some women out there like that too. Like sometimes you got the man don't want to argue with you. So a lot of times a man might say what he got to say and leave it at that. But then you got some women that just egg shit on. They just egg shit on. They get all in your face. They just won't leave shit alone. And if that's the case, I don't know what was going on when they was in that car when that argument first started. But if that's the case, then hey, driver, pull over right here. Pull over right here. I'm about to get out. All right. Let me get out, close the door, and let me walk down the street. I got my phone. Let me call the Uber to come pick me up and take me back to wherever I'm going to go. And then that's the end of it. That's the end of it. They probably would have woke up the next day and didn't remember none of that shit. But that wasn't the case. I know it's easy to say what ifs. Saying what if, it's always easy to say what if this happened and what if that happened. What's the saying? Hindsight is always 20/20. Shit, in this case, that shit goddamn 8 to 10. As in 8 to 10 goddamn years. Shit, that's a long time to think about that mistake. That's a long time to think about one drunk night where you made one dumbass decision. And that's all it takes. Out of everything Tory done right in his life, in order to get to the level that he got to, this one decision ruined it all. Now, again, the appeal is going to be filed, and who knows what's going to happen. But his reputation is ruined. His name has dirt on it. And I've heard some people say that he's a good guy. He's a nice guy, and you know, he'll do this for you and he'll do that for you. And hey, that might be true, man, but he was judged by the court of public opinion long ago. So even if he did get out on an appeal, who's gonna touch him? That's all it takes, man, is one fucked up night. All right, so Jose Baez is ripping the 10-year sentence. He's calling Tory's 10-year sentence incredibly harsh and extreme, claiming that the rapper is being punished because of his celebrity status. Baez also ripped prosecutors for making an example out of Tory. And he says Tory's defense team plans on making an appeal. Tory Lanez addressed the court before he was sentenced, saying he wanted a chance. He has a son, and that his son needs him, and he needs to better himself. He asked the judge to allow him the opportunity to prove himself and understand just how serious the charges were against him. But the thing about it is, a lot of times, man, the court system don't really work like that. Man, you got online even after that shit happened, and you start clowning, man. You put on the clown show. You know that shit got back to the judge. You know that shit got back to probably some of the people who was on the jury, man. You gotta know when to be humble. I know that shit is hard, especially when you got an ego, especially when you got pride, especially when you stubborn in the motherfucker. I'm stubborn my goddamn self, but you know what? I know how to play my part when it come to business. And this right here was the business of your life. You talking about your son. Your son needs you. Yeah, your son needs you, man. I don't never like to see any child without their father, especially a little black boy. Yeah, he needs his dad. But at the same time, where do you draw the line at, man? You can't move like that, bro. You gotta move smarter than that, man. Tory also addressed the public's view about him, saying he's not a monster without sympathy or remorse. And he apologized for his mistakes the night of the incident. And let me say this, I really believe that Tory is sorry. I believe that he's sorry for what happened that night, and hence the apology. You don't apologize for something that you didn't do. So the man has had time to sit down and think. And that's what sitting your ass down does for you sometimes, is it gives you an opportunity to sit down and think. Because a lot of times, man, some people, especially when you have money and you got a habit and you have addictions, you have enough money to feed your addictions. Therefore, your mind is never clear. You're always on the move. You're always the type of industry, the entertainment industry, I'm sure is filled with parties, club appearances, all types of events where it's going to be drugs and alcohol present. So he has access to it all. So I say all that to say, maybe for the first time, and this is just me speculating, but maybe for the first time he has a clear head and he was really able to really think about his life as a whole. Not only that situation, because many times situations like this doesn't really happen without a subset of incidents that has led up to this point. So a lot of times that's like if it's like somebody who a dope dealer, right? You a dope dealer, you selling, and then bam, you get your door kicked in while you wasn't home and they took all your shit. Okay, that's, you took a loss, but you wasn't there. You still got your life. You say, all right, well, I got enough money to re-up. So you go back to the streets, you get some more dope. You start slanging some more dope, bam, bam, bam. You know what I'm saying? Then the next time they kick your door in again, but you was home. And they lay you on the ground, they tie your ass up, put a gun to your head, and then take all your shit again. But you still living. You still got your life. You say, damn, I'm gonna be ready next time. So you think you finna get a Rottweiler or dog or something. You trying to you gonna try to figure out how you can continue to do the fucked up shit that you doing, right? And so they come back, or somebody else come back, kick your door in again, but this time they blast your ass and you lose your life. Then one person can say, damn, that's fucked up. It is fucked up. But you had warnings. You had warnings. A lot of times we'll get warnings before that major event happens. It's happened to me in my own personal life. Luckily, what was an unfortunate situation at that time, when I look back at it, I said, damn, that situation saved my life. Tory said Megan Thee Stallion was a friend to him, and they both bonded over the fact that they lost their mothers. Tory took full responsibility for his wrongs and once again asked for a chance to prove that he learned his lesson. But the judge wasn't trying to hear it. This sentence was handed down on Tuesday, almost 2 days after the sentencing hearing. Tory was facing over 22 years in prison. The sentencing was actually delayed several times over the last few months. At one point, Tory begged the judge, please don't ruin my life. The man asked the judge not to ruin his life, but we must all be accountable for our actions. You got to look in that accountability mirror. So many of us like to skip that part. Tory was found guilty on all 3 charges against him: negligence discharge of a firearm, assault with a semi-automatic firearm, and carrying a loaded and unregistered firearm. And from my understanding, California don't fuck around with them gun laws like that. Hell, you ain't in Texas. You ain't in Texas, my brother. The jury verdict was met with serious pain from Tory's family as it was read, because several members, including his dad and stepmom, shouted, "This system stands before God." Some of his family members were even escorted out of the courtroom. I don't know if they're convinced. I don't know what story Tory told him. I'm sure he told him the truth. But hey, just like any parents, you're gonna have your kids back through thick and thin, man. So, I hope the best for Tory and Megan. I hate that this situation had to be a whole dog and pony show, and it's a hard thing to deal with. It's a hard thing to deal with, from a woman's perspective, being shot. I mean, it don't matter if you was shot in the foot, or it don't matter if you was shot in the pinky toe, man. I've never been shot, so I can't imagine how that'll fuck somebody up. I could imagine you would get some type of PTSD and never be the same after that. So I hope Megan gets healing from this. I hope Tory can sit down and become a better person. And when it's all said and done, I hope that he can right this wrong and somehow become successful again. Not to say that he's still not successful, because I don't know what he has going on the back end. But I just hope that both people can grow from this, and I hope that everybody who witnessed this situation can get something out of it. Because just because this was a high-profile case and Meg and Tory are celebrities, that doesn't mean that the general population can't pull lessons from this story. And so I'm gonna leave it right there. Y'all like, comment, subscribe, and I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one.